Okay, right here, we're going to talk about the three methods by actually going over the research lab learning module here. When you look at method of limits, particularly talking about dot detection, you're presenting stimuli with changing intensity of the dots presented in either increasing or decreasing order, as we discussed earlier. And when you do that, click on star here and you saw the dot. So I say yes. Then you see the dot again, say yes. The dot is again yes, and you can see that the intensities keep changing. There comes a point where you can still see, and you don't see anymore. And this is the crossover point. Then you say, I don't see, you still don't see. Right now, start appearing again. And it goes on till you go to the max stimulus. So this is a way of presenting information either in increasing or decreasing order. And while you're doing so, right, you're measuring. I'm going to stop it. So the idea is, and you have done this in your activity and you'll understand more. So the idea is that you're presenting stimulus where the intensity of the stimulus gradually changes in one or the other direction. And you try to pinpoint that place where your responses go from yes to no and no to yes, whether it's in ascending or descending order. That's one way. It's called method of limits. Now, another way is called method of constant stimuli. What happens in method of constant stimuli is the same stimuli with varying stimulus intensities that we have seen in the PowerPoint presentation. Instead of presenting in increasing and decreasing order of their intensity, the same stimuli are presented in a random order. So that's why it's called method of constant stimuli. It's not a gradual change that you saw in limits, but here it is presented in random order of the intensity. So for instance, if you click on star here, you'll see a dot appeared. So I'm going to say yes. The next one that appeared not necessarily was a gradual increase or decreased intensity, it's a random intensity. Then you'll see a totally bright one going to a random thing again, then a different version. And the selection here is random. And what happens is the same data points you get, but the data points of different intensities and whether or not you have identified it would be pretty much same for both the limits method and also the constant stimuli method, except that the presentation was gradual in one, the other one is random. Okay. Now, let's go to the third method of adjustment. Now, the presentation of the stimulus in the first two methods that we talked about was under the control of the experimenter in how it is designed behind the scenes in this application that I have for you. But for method of adjustment, the information actually goes something like this. Here, the participant has to drag this particular button to figure out a point where the intensity changes and figure out that minimum point where it starts to appear and disappear, then confirm. Then randomly, the button will shift somewhere and the individual again has to move it across to a point where you can see or not see. And keep doing it multiple times, then confirm it. See, it appears, disappears, and come to a point where you find a specific spot. Then you take an average of those crossover points, and that gives you the absolute threshold. Now that we discussed this, I'm going to pause the recording here and open up my PowerPoint presentation to go.